Hi, this is Brian with ActiveMelody.com. Well, this week's guitar lesson is a country style rhythm and lead. There's a lot of blues licks thrown in, and this is something that you can do on an acoustic or electric guitar. And the really cool thing is you don't need a jam track, so you don't have to get your computer out and play along with that. You can just sit down with whatever guitar you've got, set your tempo. You can play as fast or as slow as you want and learn how to play this. And at the end of it, you'll have a composition that you can play for other people. And we'll go through playing the chord changes and all the techniques that are involved so that you can walk away with not just this composition, but transferable knowledge that you can apply to other things. So I've got this lesson split into two parts. In this video, we'll take a look at the first half. If you'd like to watch the second half and get the tablature for this, you'll also have access to the on-screen tab viewer, which is interactive. You can slow it down and loop sections and all of that. You can get those things by going to ActiveMelody.com, go to the weekly lessons page, and search for EP317. All right, so I have the Telecaster back out this week. We're going to be doing the Nashville thing, playing more of a country style rhythm and lead. There's a lot of awesome blues licks that are thrown into this, so if you're more of a blues player, you'll definitely want to check it out. And don't let labels get in the way. If you like the sound of something, if it's jazz, country, blues, don't worry about it. Just learn how to play it if you like the sound of it. So I was going to do a jam track for the lesson this week, but I thought it sounds really good on its own. It doesn't need one. There's enough notes that are happening as we play the chord changes that really define where you are in the song. So that's what we're going to be doing. I think it's a great way to learn that way as well. You don't have to get your computer out. You can just grab your guitar. This works on an acoustic guitar if that's all you have. Works on whatever electric you have. Don't feel the need to go out and buy a Telecaster. A lot of people assume that. I get emails from people all the time. Do I need to buy a Telecaster if I'm going to play country? No, you don't have to have that. Telecaster does have tend to have more of a nasally, twangy thing going on depending on where you are with your pickups. But I can get that sound out of a Strat. I can get it even out of a Les Paul. So you don't have to have a Telecaster. That's my point. If you have a BC Rich, I don't know. Visually, it's not going to work, but you could get the tone if that's all you've got. Okay, so I have the tone, or the selector switch between the bridge and the neck pickup. The tone and the volume are both all the way up. As far as tone through the amp, it's the same tone setup that I had last week, so you can look at EP316 if you're seeing this out of context. And at the beginning of that video, I go through tone setting in detail. Same setting as last week. The only difference is I've turned the overdrive down. So if I play an E chord, that's me hitting the E chord hard. You can see that it's fairly clean sounding. The one difference is that I didn't have last week is I've added some slapback delay. So you can hear that echo in there. And you can get that from a delay pedal or your amp, if your amp has that kind of thing built in. You don't have to have it, but I use it just because it's kind of that vintage, old school rockabilly, old school country thing, and it sort of fattens up your sound a little bit. So that's what's going on with tone. Fairly simple. Okay, let's talk about the song. So this song is played in the key of E, and it starts on the 1 chord, which is your E, then it goes to the 5 chord, which is a B. And that's a common scenario that happens in blues and country. Oftentimes we go from the 1 to the 4 chord, that's sort of the standard thing, but sometimes you go from the 1 to the 5 chord and then to the 4 chord, and that's what we're going to be doing here. So the first thing that we're going to learn is that lick that's played in the key of E. And I should just mention that we're playing the chord changes as we go through this. So we're not necessarily going to be playing the chords all the time because we can't do both things at the same time, but by playing the notes that live within the scales of those chords, we're spelling out where we are in the song. So the first thing that we're going to be playing is out of this E major pentatonic scale. So we start with the open 6th string, and then we're going to slide from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret with our ring finger. And I will say, most of what we're going to be doing in this part, this first part, is between the 2nd fret and the 4th fret. We're going to be playing out of this little box here. 2nd fret, 4th fret on the 6th string, 5th string, and 4th string. And this is an awesome pentatonic box. It's the major pentatonic scale that works over an E chord. You can play all kinds of really cool fill licks when you're playing in the key of E. All that stuff you hear in country, you hear it in blues, it's coming out of that box there between the 2nd and 4th fret. So let's try and just visualize that as we go through it. Okay, so backing up, open 6th string, slide from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret on the 6th string. Now we're on the 5th string, so 2nd fret, 4th fret, and then we come to the 2nd fret, 4th string. So we play that twice, back down to the 4th fret, 5th string, and then we're going to play the open 6th string with 2 bends on the 2nd fret. And what I'm doing to bend there is I'm pulling with my index finger. It's the 2nd fret, 6th string. I hit it twice, bend, and then release it and play the open 6th string. Let me do that for you slowly. Now you can see there's a little bit of a shuffle going on there as well. And that's the other thing I want to just mention is the right hand. The key to this whole thing is the motion of your right hand. And the thing that helped me to understand this was to visualize holding a drumstick and hitting a snare drum and hitting hard, soft, hard, soft. You can see that by doing that, it starts to create a little bit of a shuffle. Now you throw in some upstrokes and you start to have a rhythm. And that's what creates that groove. So even before you get into the notes, you might want to take your pick with your right hand and just try and get comfortable doing it. You can do it whatever tempo you want. You're the drummer here. You can set the tempo. But just kind of get that shuffle thing going. All right, so backing up we have... Right? Now after that, then I played... And that's where we do play a chord. So I'm playing an E chord. Hit that after that 6th string, we're going to hit just the top part of the chord. And then I put my pinky down on the 2nd fret, 2nd string, and I do an upstroke with the right hand. So, and then watch this. And what I'm doing there is I'm playing, keeping the E chord in my mind, so I'm keeping the fingers there, but I lift my index finger and I do a hammer on. That's that open 3rd string, doing a hammer on to the 1st fret. Do another upstroke on the 1 string, the open 1 string. Pinky goes back down on the 2nd fret, 2nd string. Bear with me, I know it's a lot, but it starts to make sense as you do it. And then 2 upstrokes there. So it goes. Now, let me do that slowly for you, just that part. See that? You can already hear that drumstick. You can hear that shuffle. Without a drummer, without even hearing my foot tap or anything, you can feel the rhythm of that by the way that my hand goes down on the string. It's light, heavy, light, heavy. All right, so let me back up and play up to that point. We have... All right, now the next lick goes like this. And a lot of this is played out of that same little box, but now you can hear it changed chords there. We went from the 1 chord to the 5 chord, and that's where it happens. It takes us to the B chord. So let's look at this lick. So it starts here on the 4th fret, 4th string. I use my ring finger and I slide up to the 6th fret, and then 4th fret, 3rd string. And by the way, these notes, if you're wondering where they are, it's just pattern 4 of the major pentatonic scale for E. That's where I'm at, right in the middle of that. So we go. Then we do a quick slide back down to the 4th fret on the 4th string. 2nd fret on the 4th string. And then the 4th fret and the 2nd fret on the 5th string. Now once we get down to that 2nd fret, 5th string, I'm going to bar there so that I can play the 2nd fret, 4th string. And play the 2nd fret, 4th string, 4th fret, 5th string again. So backing up, we have... And and then we play the 2nd fret 5th string, and then I do a hammer-on between the 3rd fret and the 4th fret on the 6th string. So let's back it up slowly. 2nd fret 5th string, and then 2 bends there on the 4th fret 5th string, 2 full bends, and I'm pulling because I don't have enough room to push, so I have to pull it. And then I land there on the 2nd fret 5th string, which is the note that's in the bottom of that B chord. So think of your B chord using your A chord shape out of cage. That note is already in place, and then your other fingers can fall into place and play the chord. So if we were to play that lick then, we're playing the B chord to follow it up. Alright, so let me back up and I'll play through that slowly. I want you to listen for that shuffle rhythm though. You can hear how I'm accenting certain notes. The heavier notes are being accented as I come down a little harder with my right hand. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. After that I went, so I'm still playing the B chord, but I'm just changing the bass note. So instead of playing the B note down here, I take my ring finger and I come up to the 4th fret 5th string and slide it up here to the 6th fret on the 5th string, which would be a D sharp. And then I put my bar down with my index finger, playing the same bar that I was playing before. So you can see that I've just changed the note in the bass. So we have, you can see that I slid up to that note. So I played this one, played that one, and then slide up. And then put your bar there on the 4th fret. You're only playing the middle strings now. You're only playing strings 5, 4, 3, and 2. Okay, so you have right, now hit it quick. And then watch this. Walk down to the 4 chord. So what am I doing there? I'm taking that B chord shape, walking it down a half step, walking it down a half step again, and what am I playing when I do that? That's an A chord. It's an A chord that you're probably not used to because it has a C sharp in the bass as opposed to an A. But it's the same chord, it's just it's an inversion of that chord. It's a different way to play it, a different voicing. So that's what I'm doing. So we come down to the 4 chord and then we go back to the 5 chord. And what I did there was I walked up to the B chord, but instead of playing a B chord like this, I played a B7 chord. And I walked it up, open 5th string, 1st fret, middle finger goes down on the 2nd fret 5th string. And then these fingers fall into place for the B7 chord shape. I add my pinky up here to the 2nd fret, 1st string. And I played it like this. Keeping that shuffle going with the right hand. There's the upstroke on the 3rd string. I go back down, actually I think in the tab I went back down on the 5th string there. And then an upstroke on the top strings out of that chord. Okay, let me back up from the beginning and play us up to that point just so we can keep it all in context. We have watch this. We go back to the 4 chord, but I did it in that real bass string twangy thing that you hear in a lot of country. I don't even know who to attribute that to because it's been done so many times. But a lot of times they'll retune their guitar and tune it way down and then put it on the bridge pickup, turn the tone all the way up, and then play way back here. So you get that real twangy, bright sound on a bass string. It's a cool contrast. Anyway, that's what I'm doing there. I'm playing the open, I'm hitting this twice, so it's down, up, down, up, down, up with the right hand. Open 6th string, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret, all the way up to the 5th fret. Now some of you would be saying, well, how did you come up with that? Where did that come from? Well, it was pretty easy because I visualized, I knew I was going to the 4 chord, and so I was thinking about just chord choices, and this is why I'm always preaching the gospel of playing out a chord shape. But if we were just playing out of that A chord shape, right? I was thinking, where's the next one? Well, there's one up here, your A bar chord, and that's what I'm doing, is I'm just walking up to that bar chord on that 6th string. So once I'm up in position there, I'll just go ahead and bar on the 5th string, and then I put these 2 fingers down to play an A7 chord. It's actually the same as your A major bar chord, just take your pinky away. And you have that A7 sound. So backing up, we have then it goes back to the 1 chord or the E chord. Now I played a blues thing there. Blues, country, it's somewhere in between. And all I'm doing is I'm thinking about the E chord, but I was thinking about this double stop thing from blues. Instead of playing that, sometimes I'll hear this in country. You let this finger do what it would be doing, but then you keep the 1 string open and let that just be a drone string, that open E string. So I'm going from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret on the 3rd string, going back to the 2nd fret, and then down to your E chord, just strings 1 and 3, or 3 and 1 rather. But I did a hammer on it, and that's what gives it that bluesy feel. All right, so walking up to that A chord, there's your E chord, and then I go to the B chord, your B7 chord like we just played, and then watch this. I love that lick. I learned that from a pedal steel player somewhere, and I use this a lot because it's real easy to grab. So as I'm playing that B chord, the B7 chord, I'm going to hybrid pick. So I'm going to pick on the 3rd string with my pick, and then use my ring finger on the 1st string. And these 2 fingers are already in position. If you're playing that B7 chord and you've got your pinky on the 2nd fret, 2nd string, just grab those 2 strings at the same time, strings 3 and 1, and then you're going to push them both this direction, or push them sharp. It's kind of hard to do even on this guitar, and this guitar is fairly good action. It's a little tricky, but you can do it. I can even do it on an acoustic guitar. You don't have to push it too hard, but just give it enough to sort of accent it, and then you come back down so that you got your index finger on the 1st fret 3rd string. It's just the strings 3 and 1 of the E chord. So that's the whole first part. It goes into this whole other cool thing that we're going to learn in the second part, which is more of a kind of a blues shuffle kind of thing. But then there's some high notes played high on the neck and stuff as well. So make sure you tune in as a premium member. If you're not one yet, you get the tablature, you get the support of the community, you get all this really cool stuff that you wouldn't get otherwise. But let's go ahead in this video and back up and play through this one more time. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the alert bell and all that cool stuff so that you can be notified as I put out new lessons. Here we go from the beginning of this, and then I'll see you in part 2.